Plymouth sitting at just 2 degrees Celsius this morning, whilst Aberdeen enjoys a comparatively mild 7 degrees. Yes, you heard that correctly. The southwest is currently colder than the Scottish Highlands. Is your area about to face the most dramatic temperature swing we've seen since early December? Because right now, the Met Office has issued yellow warnings affecting over 15 million people across southern England and Wales, and what's developing in the Atlantic could change everything by Thursday. I'm going to tell you exactly when this hits your specific location in the next 60 seconds. But first, drop your city or county in the comments right now. Whether you are in Nottingham, Newcastle, or Newport, I'll be going through tomorrow's forecast with personalised updates for as many locations as possible. The more detail you give me, the more specific I can be. Right then, let's get straight to the timings. London, you are looking at rain arriving Wednesday evening around 7 o'clock, turning heavy overnight, clearing by Thursday lunchtime. Manchester, yours comes earlier, Wednesday afternoon from about 2 o'clock onwards, persistent through to Thursday morning. Birmingham, expect the wettest period Wednesday night into Thursday dawn. Glasgow, you are actually staying drier for longer, not seeing significant rain until Thursday afternoon. Cardiff, it arrives Wednesday evening, similar to London, but you will see the heaviest falls overnight. Belfast, you are in a fortunate position this week, mostly dry until Friday. Now, here is what nobody is talking about yet. The temperature story behind this system is frankly rather unusual for early February. Currently, we've got this Arctic air mass sitting across the UK, hence Plymouth's surprisingly low reading this morning, but there is a rapidly deepening low-pressure system out in the Atlantic, and it's dragging exceptionally mild air northwards. We're talking about a potential 15-degree temperature rise in some locations within 48 hours. Let me just clarify that, because the numbers are quite striking. Brighton, currently at 3 degrees this morning, could reach 18 degrees by Friday afternoon. Southampton from 4 degrees today to 17 degrees Friday. Exeter sitting at 2 degrees right now, potentially seeing 16 degrees by the weekend. These aren't just forecasts. These are what the Met Office unified model is consistently showing run after run. But here, where it gets interesting. The European model, the ECMWF, is showing something slightly different for the southeast. Whilst the Met Office model has the rain clearing Kent and Sussex by Thursday afternoon, the European model keeps it lingering until Thursday evening. That 50-kilometre difference in the low-pressure track changes everything for Dover, Canterbury and Hastings. Tomorrow morning S-model runs should give us much better clarity on this. For those of you in the Midlands, Leicester, Nottingham, Derby, you are looking at rain Wednesday night, heaviest around midnight to 3 o'clock Thursday morning, then gradually clearing through Thursday. Accumulations looking like 20 to 30 millimetres widely, possibly 40 millimetres over higher ground in the Peak District. Scotland, you've got a rather different picture. Edinburgh and Glasgow stay relatively dry Wednesday, your rain not arriving until Thursday. Inverness, you are even later, not until Friday. Aberdeen, similar timing to the Central Belt, Thursday afternoon into evening. But what concerns me about Scotland isn't the rain itself, it's what happens after it. With the mild air pushing north behind the frontal system, we're re-looking at rapid snowmelt in the Highlands, and that combined with the rainfall could cause some issues for rivers and burns from Friday onwards. Wait until you see what's developing for next week, but I'll come back to that at around the 12-minute mark because there is something genuinely unexpected in the long-range models. Newcastle and the northeast, you are caught between two scenarios right now. The most likely outcome has rain Wednesday evening, moderate through the night, easing Thursday morning. Sunderland, Middlesbrough, you're in the same boat, but there's an outside chance, maybe 20% probability, that if this low tracks 50 miles further north than expected, you could see significantly heavier rainfall. We'll know more tomorrow. Liverpool and the northwest coast, you're particularly exposed to the wind with this system. Not just rain Wednesday afternoon and evening, but westerly winds picking up to 70 to 80 kilometres per hour, possibly stronger on exposed headlands. Blackpool, you'll definitely notice those winds. The Irish Sea is going to be rather lively Wednesday night. Leeds, Sheffield, York, your rain arrives Wednesday evening, persistent overnight, clearing Thursday mid-morning. Bradford and Huddersfield up on the Pennines, you are looking at higher totals, possibly 50 millimetres in the most exposed locations. That is quite a lot of water coming off those hills into the valley towns. Do check back tomorrow because the overnight model runs will show whether that European model scenario for the southeast is gaining support or whether the Met Office solution is winning out. It matters enormously if you are in Kent or East Sussex trying to plan outdoor activities for Thursday, Bristol and the southwest. You are actually in one of the wetter zones with this system. Plymouth, Exeter, Torquay, expect rain Wednesday evening, turning heavy overnight, 30 to 40 millimetres widely, possibly 60 millimetres over Dartmoor, clearing Thursday morning, but by then we are talking about that extraordinary temperature rise I mentioned earlier. Cornwall, UV got similar timing. Truro, Penzance, Newquay, rain Wednesday evening, heavy at times overnight, easing Thursday morning, but Penzance particularly, you could go from 2 degrees Wednesday morning to 16 degrees Friday afternoon. That is the kind of temperature swing we normally associate with continental Europe, not the British Isles. Oxford, Cambridge, those of you in East Anglia, you are in that uncertain zone I mentioned. Norwich, Ipswich, Colchester. If the Met Office model is correct, rain Wednesday night, clearing by Thursday lunchtime. If the European model is right, you are looking at persistent rain through much of Thursday. This is where tomorrow's forecast becomes crucial for your planning. Southampton, Portsmouth, Bournemouth along the south coast. Similar story to Brighton. Rain Wednesday evening, heavy overnight, clearing Thursday morning to afternoon, depending on exactly which model solution verifies. Then that remarkable warmth Friday and into the weekend. Reading, Slough, areas west of London, you reach slightly earlier than the capital itself. Rain from early Wednesday evening, heavy at times through the night, clearing Thursday morning. Guildford, Woking, similar timings. Now, the one detail that concerns me most about this forecast isn't actually the rain itself. 30 to 40 millimetres in 12 hours is manageable for most of England and Wales. What concerns me is the ground saturation after January's relentless rainfall. I know this isn't ideal for areas that have already seen flooding this winter. The Environment Agency is monitoring river levels closely, particularly in Somerset, Worcestershire, and parts of Yorkshire. Swansea and South Wales, you are in the firing line Wednesday evening through Thursday morning. Bridgend, Neath, expect 30 to 40 millimetres, higher over the Brecon Beacons. Bangor and North Wales, you reach slightly lighter, 20 to 30 millimetres, but still a soggy 24 hours from Wednesday evening. Actually, I should be more precise about the timing for North Wales because there's a lag as the system moves north. Wrexham sees rain from Wednesday evening, but Bangor not until late Wednesday night, peaking Thursday morning. Northern Ireland, you've got the best of this week's weather, relatively speaking. Belfast stays mostly dry until Friday, then some rain Friday evening into Saturday. Derry, similar timing. You are missing the worst of this Atlantic system. The Channel Islands, Jersey, Guernsey, you are early in the sequence. Rain arrives Wednesday afternoon, heavy at times Wednesday evening, then clearing quite quickly Thursday morning. But like the south coast, you will notice that temperature rise dramatically by Friday. Isle of Wight, you are with the south coast timings. Rain Wednesday evening, heavy overnight, clearing Thursday. Shanklin, Ryde, Cowes, all seeing 30 to 40 millimetres. Right, I promised you something about next week, and this is where the forecast gets genuinely fascinating. The models are showing another significant low-pressure system developing in the Atlantic for early next week, Monday or Tuesday timeframe. But here, what's unexpected. Both the Met Office and European models are suggesting this could be even deeper than Wednesday's system, potentially bringing stormy conditions. Hang on, let me check that again because I want to be absolutely clear. Yes, the latest ECMWF ensemble is showing a low potentially reaching 960 millibars, which would be exceptionally deep for early February. Now, there is still enormous uncertainty about the track. We're talking 6 days ahead here. But if current trends continue, we could be looking at the potential for an amber warning situation for western coasts. Do check back tomorrow because the confidence in this system will increase significantly with each model run. If you are in exposed western areas, Cornwall, Pembrokeshire, the Western Isles, Outer Hebrides, this is one to watch carefully. Coming back to the rest of this week, Thursday itself looks like a transition day for most areas. Southern England and Wales, you are clearing to sunny spells by afternoon. Temperatures already starting to climb. 8 to 10 degrees widely, 11 or 12 in the southwest. Midlands and Northern England, you are clearing later, still some showers around through the afternoon, 7 to 9 degrees. Scotland, your rain is arriving, so a wet afternoon and evening for the central belt, 5 to 7 degrees. Friday is where that warmth really arrives. London potentially reaching 17 degrees. Bristol 16 degrees. Birmingham 15 degrees. Manchester 13 degrees. Edinburgh 11 degrees. Glasgow 10 degrees. Cardiff 16 degrees. These are remarkably high values for early February. For context, the average maximum temperature for London in early February is around 8 degrees Celsius. We're re-looking at temperatures 9 or 10 degrees above average. Unfortunately for Scotland, whilst you're milder than you have been, you are not seeing the exceptional warmth that southern areas will experience. The temperature gradient across the UK Friday is going to be quite pronounced. Inverness around 8 degrees, whilst Plymouth could hit 17 or 18 degrees. The weekend, Saturday and Sunday, stays remarkably mild for southern Britain. London, 15 to 17 degrees both days. Brighton, Southampton, 16 degrees. Cardiff, 15 degrees. Bristol, 15 to 16 degrees. Mixture of cloud and sunny spells, perhaps the odd light shower, but largely dry. Midlands and Northern England, you are cooler but still mild for the time of year. Manchester, Leeds, 12 to 13 degrees Saturday and Sunday. Newcastle, 11 to 12 degrees. Liverpool, 13 degrees. Scotland, you are back to more typical February values by the weekend. Glasgow and Edinburgh, 9 to 10 degrees. Aberdeen, 7 to 8 degrees. Inverness, 6 to 7 degrees. A mix of sunshine and showers, those showers turning wintry over the Scottish mountains above 600 metres. One thing to note for weekend travellers, the roads should be fine across England and Wales, dry for the most part, mild temperatures. Scotland, just be aware of the potential for wintry showers affecting higher routes, the A9 through the Cairngorms, particularly Saturday morning. Now let's address the elephant in the room. After the extraordinary rainfall totals we've seen through January, with some locations recording over a quarter of their annual average rainfall in just 1 month. As one viewer mentioned in the comments, will Wednesday's rain cause further flooding? The honest answer is it could in localised areas that are already saturated. The Environment Agency has several flood warnings already in place across England, mainly for rivers in the Midlands and Northwest. Wednesday's rain will likely see these numbers increase temporarily Thursday morning. But compared to some of the rainfall events we saw in January, Wednesday's system, while significant, isn't exceptional. It's more the context of ground saturation that makes it concerning. I know it's rather unusual to be discussing flooding in the same forecast where I am talking about 18-degree temperatures, but that's British weather for you. For those of you asking about snow Scotland, you'll see some over the mountains this weekend, as I mentioned. But for England, Wales and Northern Ireland, the mild air is too dominant. The only snow you might see is on the highest peaks of Snowdonia or the Pennines, and even that is questionable. The models are currently showing quite a bit of uncertainty about the pattern after this weekend. That potential storm system I mentioned for early next week is the main feature, but beyond that, around the 9 to 14-day range, we are seeing hints that high pressure might try to build from the south. If that happens, we could see a more settled spell developing through the middle of February, but it is far too early to have any real confidence in that. Could go either way at this stage, which is precisely why checking back daily makes such a difference to your planning. The difference between a settled week and an unsettled week with multiple systems crossing the UK is enormous if you are trying to organise outdoor activities, travel plans or work commitments. Let me recap briefly. Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, significant rain for most of England and Wales, heavier in western areas. 20 to 40 millimetres widely, 50 to 60 millimetres over higher ground. Scotland and Northern Ireland you are later, Thursday into Friday for Scotland, Friday for Northern Ireland. Then a remarkable temperature rise, particularly southern Britain, potentially 18 degrees by Friday in the southwest. Weekend staying mild, largely dry for England and Wales. More showery for Scotland with wintry showers over the mountains. Looking ahead to next week, Monday or Tuesday, potentially seeing another deep low pressure system approaching from the Atlantic. Still significant uncertainty about the track and timing, but something to watch very carefully, particularly if you are in western coastal areas. I'll have much more detail on this tomorrow once the overnight models come in. If there's one thing to take away from this forecast, it's that dramatic temperature contrast from Arctic conditions today to potentially the mildest day of the year so far by Friday for southern areas. That's extraordinary for early February. Do drop your location in the comments and I'll do my best to give you specific updates tomorrow. Whether you were in a major city or a small town, the more comments I get, the more comprehensive tomorrow's forecast can be. I genuinely appreciate the engagement and it helps me understand which areas need the most detail. Tomorrow's forecast will be published at the usual time, 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be crucial. We'll know definitively which model solution has won out for the southeast. We'll have much better clarity on that potential storm system for early next week, and I'll have overnight river level updates for areas concerned about flooding. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning with what promises to be a rather important update. Stay safe out there, particularly Wednesday night if you are